Hello and welcome to the Parent Tech Support Show. My name is Jack Hughes and I help parents protect their kids online. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Tammy. Tammy's daughter, Selena, was a victim of social media and all sorts of online dangers. And so I wanted to get her on the show today to talk about her story and her daughter's story. So, how are you doing today, Tammy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very, very good.
Good.
So, to get started, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Selena. What was she like?
Okay.
What was her personality like? That sort of stuff.
Sure. My older daughter Destiny likes to say that Selena is the human form of sunshine. She just was bright, shiny, the loudest one in the room. There was no way you would ever miss her. She made her presence known. Yeah, she's a very caring child. She was worried about homelessness. She was worried about, things that adults would be worried about.
Hmm.
And Selena worried about those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Did she like to do anything for fun? Any hobbies she liked?
She loved to dance. That was her big thing. She had done dance class for, I want to say 4 years, and then COVID came along, and that was the end of that, unfortunately. But she
Yeah.
really loved dance and just music in general, singing. Yeah.
Okay. So when you think back about Selena, do any stories stick out? Maybe any fun moments?
Yeah. There are some, oh, we talk about her and, we think about the good times. That's what we really try to focus on. We have so many pictures of her smiling and happy and, things like that. But there's one story that I like to tell that it was a freezing cold night and we were headed to pick Destiny up from work. And there was a homeless gentleman out, and Selena, she said, Mom, we have to go around the block. He is freezing. We have to give him something to warm him up. So we go around the block. And then as soon as I get to the guy, she says, Mom, give him your coat. So instead of it being hers, she offers my coat up.
What are you gonna
And
do at that point?
and here I went, took it off and handed it out the window. Because that's just, she was so pure, her thoughts and just
Hmm.
how she looked at things. Yeah, so we have so many wonderful memories of her.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So, hmm, could you tell how she started to when okay, let me back up here. When
Sure.
did Selena first get a phone or a device?
I had gotten her a tablet. I believe she was 7 or 8 when we gotten that. And she would use it for the YouTube Kids or the games that were on there, designing games, dressing up, all those kind of things.
Hmm.
And that's yeah. So she was about 7, and then as that started running out of memory, that's when she kind of convinced me to get her a phone, which was maybe about a year and a half later. Which then we
Hmm.
moved on to an iPad from there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and she had the iPad. I want to say she got that when she was 10. Yeah.
Okay. And that's
Mhm.
not very uncommon. Like there was a lot of
Right.
kids who have some kids
Yeah,
are like 5 and they have
I
real
know it.
phones. It's crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and when did she start using social media? And I know you mentioned YouTube, which is sort of like social media, but
Right.
like,
Right. So
um,
the YouTube Kids was when she was younger and very early on and having a device. But from there, it was once she got the phone and she had the phone for a little while is when she started learning about the social media, whether it
mhm,
be from other friends or, seeing it online in general. And she was,
mhm,
inquisitive. And I did let her have a TikTok account, but it was only for her to post, not to post, I'm sorry, to save the drafts because she liked to dance. So she would do a
mhm,
lot of the trends and that. And she knew that the rule at the time was that she couldn't post them and everything had to be private. And I had everything set private.
mhm.
So,
Yeah, a lot of people will like hear stories like this one and they'll think, well, why didn't you give your your child all this, but from what it seems to where you sort of knew about that and you tried to protect as much as you possibly knew how to, but it still seems that it still, I don't know, took her, I guess.
Right, right. And they learn so much from each other, the kids that
Hmm.
this one learns how to get around, the parental controls, or, this app will hide these apps inside of it, or, things like that. They really learn
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I learned how to get unlimited messaging or
Mhm.
unlimited text messages, even when my screen time was supposed to not allow it from like my cousin or from another friend. I learned how to access the internet even when my web browser was blocked. Stuff like that. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
there's a lot of little loopholes and stuff that kid or
Right.
parents don't really know about.
Right.
Um, was there a specific moment when you realized social media might be affecting Selena harmfully or negatively?
I would say it was like the beginning of 2021 is when I really noticed her changing. Uh,
Hmm.
COVID was ramped up. She was home from school. She had the school issued device. Um, and as that year moved on, you could see it progressing. Just I didn't know what was happening at the time. I just knew she wasn't the same Selena that we knew. She was a
Hmm.
completely different child.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, her she was very angry, very aggressive. She broke her sister's nose one time. She punched her in the face because of not giving her device. One time I was driving and her phone died and I wouldn't give her mine. And she had grabbed the top part of my arm and squeezed it so bad that the top was bruised for a few weeks at least.
Oh my.
So yeah, and that was not her. Like I said, she was
Yeah, that's
very
not
good
natural.
and no, not at all. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me what drugs will do to people.
Yes,
Not,
exactly.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it's,
Because she wasn't sleeping. I would get up in the middle of the night and she'd have like her school device, she'd have her iPad, she'd have my phone that she would take after I fell asleep, all lined up around her, and there would be stuff going on, kids arguing all night long. It was terrible.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah.
Um, did the Snapchat or maybe Instagram any like did you ever reach out to them or did they ever try helping you with Selena and try to I don't know.
Like I said, at the time, I didn't realize that it had to do with that. Um, I mean, I knew like we felt that there was bullying going on. That's what we thought was changing her.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of, like I said, the arguments that these kids would have and the things they'd say to each other, it was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all the same kids up all night long, all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not healthy.
No, not at all. So that's one more way that it's like a drug addiction that it, takes the sleep away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about the she was being bullied by kids at school. Does that affect her grades and all
Yes.
that start to
Yeah.
plummet too?
Yes. Actually, have I had done a presentation not too long ago, and our attorney had brought Selena's report card from before social media and after social media. And again, you would have thought it was two different children's report cards.
Mm-hmm.
She was
Oh
not
my.
signing on to school at all during COVID. I couldn't, I was working, so, I couldn't be there to make sure she was signing on, because there was just so much else going on that these kids had to be in the know about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So her grades they really were affected, and her attendance.
Yeah. Another really scary part online, not just about the social media itself is incredibly addictive, but there's also really creepy people online. I just did a little video about this today, um, about at any given time there are 500,000 predators online. So was she
Oh,
ever approached by disgusting people.
Yes.
For
So that I didn't know about until after she had passed away. Um, when they had somebody go into her device and they found, that she was being um, accosted by men, that
hmm
were forcing her to send pictures, which she was then sending. Yeah,
That's terrible.
yeah. But they would offer to pay for it, or I haven't seen a lot of
Uh-huh.
what we
Yeah.
have for information, but from what I have seen, it's just terrible what these men will do.
Yeah, I watched your interview you did with Scrolling to Death,
Yes.
and like I started tearing up. I haven't cried in a long time, but that's just for a little kid, for a little girl, that's like, oh man, that should never ever happen ever.
And we are a very open family. Like we talk about anything. I mean, she was one. Selena was TMI all the time. You knew
Too
too
much.
much information. So even with somebody like her being like that she still didn't feel she could come to us about it. That's what I
Yeah.
think really makes me sad, is to
hmm
think that these kids are struggling like that, even with families that are supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder how many cases there are of that we never hear about. I'm
right.
sure there's a lot.
Yes. There's so many of us that you are hearing about now that I can't imagine how many there are that are in silence. And that's a
hmm
big thing for me about trying to break that stigma, because we can't be silent. If we continue to be silent, no one will know about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. Um, so it seemed like she developed pretty serious social media addiction, or social media had her grasped. If you feel comfortable sharing,
Sure.
what were the events that led up to her passing?
Um, well, what do you mean? Like what, in what way?
So, like, hmm,
Like what was going
what?
on with her online at the time, or?
Yeah, or like what happened, or what were the exact timeline? I don't know, like maybe the
Sure.
week of what happened.
Okay. So like that last 2 months of her life, they were, I mean, out of control. I can't, it was like a cyclone. Every minute was something.
hmm
And as that, as those months went on, it just, like I said, kept snowballing and getting worse and worse. And then that last week, she really, and it's everything's in hindsight now, of course, but she really wasn't herself. She was doing a lot of dangerous behaviors, running down the railroad tracks. She was jumping into the Connecticut River off of a boat
Oh
dock.
my.
Anything that she could do. She took off in a lightning storm running down the main street where we live. Yeah, it,
How old was she at the time?
11,
11.
11. Yeah. So that was like the last 2 weeks got really bad.
Uh,
Um, and her behaviors again were just out of control. And there were times where I took the devices away, turned the Wi-Fi off, all of those things, and
hmm
they can always get a device somewhere. They'll
hmm
always find somewhere. So everybody has phones, so they'll find their ways. There's another mom that her daughter actually went up to a stranger and asked for their phone so that she could log into her social media.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time I had my phone taken away as a kid,
Mhm.
and I bought like a $80 old phone for my friend and used that for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah. And
So,
that's what they're saying. A lot of the kids buying like the burner phones.
hmm
The
hmm
parents have no idea that they even have it.
Yeah, I had it
So
for a
they,
long time and they never knew about it.
oh wow, wow, yeah.
Okay, so after she passed, I believe you filed a lawsuit against social media. What
Yes.
happened about that? Like, what's all?
So that was where I had found a website for our legal team, and when I went on there, everything, like, it was like marking check marks on on a checkbox. Everything that she went through, like step by step, all the symptoms she was having, the signs she was having, they were all there. So I had reached out to the attorneys, and got talking with them, and we ended up being one of the first families that they
Oh,
filed
wow.
for. Um, our thing, it's not about a financial gain. It's because big tech needs to be held accountable. It's time that they're held accountable. And
Yeah.
with them, you can tell that that's the only way that things hurt them is when it hits their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you're wearing awareness or raising awareness for other families too.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And there's also I heard a little bit about this, I believe, on a podcast you did, but I could be wrong. There's the COSA bill,
COSA, yes.
COSA, yeah,
Yep.
uh, which would limit kids to 16 to be on social media. Are you involved with that?
Somewhat I have been involved. There is a group of parents who do like a lot with like the rewriting of it and things and working with Congress. But I have been able to meet with some members of Congress, which, was great to be able to do that
Mm-hmm.
and meet with the Surgeon General, which was great also. Just to have people listening to us, it's made a big difference. Uh,
Yeah.
but COSA really, it's so important. People think that we're trying to censor children or we're trying to censor people. We're not. And, it only has to do with the social media. It's not even about the internet in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's about protecting kids.
I mean, if we stop kids from buying tobacco or
Yeah,
getting tattoos,
right, right.
I mean,
This is
yeah,
right there with it.
yeah. I mean, cigarettes won't kill you as a kid. They'll kill you 40 years later.
Right,
But
exactly.
social media will. It just seems so
Yeah,
preposterous that they're getting mad about that. And I think 16 is a great age.
I do too. Yeah, I think it's a good age also, where kids kind of have an idea and they're able to, reach out to their friends and have a little more of a knowledge of life.
Yeah.
Just even those couple of years makes a difference.
And they're
Yeah,
more secure in their self, not as insecure.
that's true too. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there any advice, anything you want to say to parents who might see this call or podcast?
It's really important to stay engaged with your kids, knowing what they're doing online. One of our attorneys, one of her things that she tells is that if you do allow your child to be on social media, take the device from them maybe once a week, go through and scroll as if it's your account, and it changes the algorithm. Because right now, the way that it's set up, a child can put in that they're 97, but that algorithm still knows that they're liking things that a 12-year-old would like, not
Mm-hmm.
a 97-year-old. So, just the things that have come out, even like through the whistleblower, Frances Haugen, the things that she's brought out from Facebook, just emails and things and how they are targeting the kids of the younger ages, who aren't even supposed to be on there yet.
Yeah.
So these are things that, we want people to know that this is real, that this is really happening. For me, very big about child suicide awareness. Uh, I never in my life would have thought my 11-year-old daughter would take her own life. You just,
Mm-hmm.
something you don't think kids, they don't understand, but they don't, you think they don't realize that, but they do.
Yeah.
And, and social media is helping them to realize it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, lastly, is
Mhm.
there anything I personally can do to help your mission of telling Selena's story?
Well, as I always tell people, whoever I speak with, if you continue to tell her story, you are now part of her voice. And just you doing this podcast, as I was saying to you before you started, it's wonderful. Someone your age coming out and explaining it from your age to people who are younger. They may not listen to me as, an almost 50-year-old. They'll think I'm crazy, but you at your age, they'll listen to you more so. So you're
Mm-hmm.
doing a great job.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can make some positive impact. Leave the world
Mhm.
better than I found it.
Yes, I think you're doing that already.
Well, we'll see. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you for meeting with me today.
you're
Um,
very welcome. Anytime.
yeah,
Hmm.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you're
hope you have
welcome.
a good rest of your week. I hope you recover
Thank
from
you.
your surgery.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your week also.
Thank you. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye bye.